I'm Sam Kawakami. In this video, I am going to talk about using forms to create quizzes which you can then assign through Teams. So what you need to do first is go into Forms, which is online, and create your quiz. A couple of quick questions. There's a difference between forms and quizzes. Once you save something as a form, you cannot save it as a quiz. You will have to recreate it from scratch. Now the difference is that a form cannot be assigned in Teams. So you can give students a link to have them complete the survey, but then it will be not linked to their account. So you would have to maybe have a field for their name so you can see who completed it or didn't complete it. So I recommend creating quizzes over forms. Now a quiz you can then use to create an assignment in Teams, which will then also be connected with that student's account. If you want it to be a survey, you can make a quiz worth 0 points. There is one kind of what I consider a serious flaw in forms and Teams, and that is that the total value in Teams of the assignment is based on the total points of the quiz. So you cannot weight a quiz to make it worth 1 point with 10 questions, 1 point each. So if you make 10 questions worth 1 point each, the assignment will automatically be 10 points in Teams. However, that's okay. You just have to do a little bit of work at the end with Excel. What you can do if you want to create similar teams for every week, a similar quiz every week, is you can create a kind of quiz template. And if you click on the quiz and you click on the 3 dots, you have the option to copy the quiz. This will create a duplicate of that quiz so that you can then go in and change the questions as you want. I'm going to go ahead and open one of my quizzes, and you can kind of see you can have things. This is worth 1 point each per question, and these are all worth 1 point. Oftentimes I have a kind of survey quiz for a class where at the first 2 questions or 3 questions are worth 0 points. It's basically, did you have any problems in class today? It's just a chance to provide feedback. And then there'll be questions that are worth points about the content in the class. That's one way that I use quizzes as kind of a follow-up for my class. So once you have your quiz created, let's go over to Teams, and I will show you how to assign it. So I'm going to go ahead and use one of my test teams instead of my live teams. I don't have any students in here right now, but that's okay. Where did it go? Test. Okay, if I go into my general channel, you need to go into general channel and then you can click on assignments at the top. When you click on assignments, then you have the option to create. So when you click on create, you can create either an assignment from scratch, you can create a quiz from forms, or you can take an assignment from another class and copy it over. Let's go ahead and click on quiz. If I click on create quiz, then it goes into forms and I can choose my form. I do have one warning. You should be careful about how you name your quizzes, because you will end up with a lot of them out there. I made a mistake my first classes. I was calling them week 1 survey, and then I realized I needed to have the class title or the textbook name so that I knew what the content was for each different class. So you want to make sure that you do something that's kind of unique for each class if you have different class-appropriate content. So for example, if I click on this survey quiz, I can then choose to add a category. So I can add a category. For example, I might call this class quiz. And you can type in directions here. There will also be whatever instructions you have typed inside the quiz, but I generally recommend typing instructions here too because they can see it before they open the quiz. For example, for textbook homework, here I include the URL link to the audio and video for the textbook. Assign to, so here are the students. I'm going to assign to all of the students in the class. The default is to do not assign it to students added in the future. If you're going to possibly add a student later, you should edit this so that it will assign it to students added in the future. Due date, you can change the due date using the calendar and the time. If you click on edit here, you can also choose a date to assign it. So this is the date that it will then show up in Teams so students can see the assignment. You can also put in a hard close date, which would be sometime after the due date, so that students cannot turn it in at all after that date. I generally don't use this because if I do, I will of course have a student come to me the day after and say, I can't turn in the assignment. So I generally leave this open. But if you want to be hard about it, you could put in a hard close date. The other thing is the settings here for the channel. The default is that it will automatically post an assignment in the general channel for that class. Now, once it posts it, once you've saved it into the general channel, you cannot change the channel, which is unfortunate. But what I recommend is editing it right at the beginning and choose whichever channel you want to assign it to. The advantage of assigning things into a particular channel is that it makes it very easy for students to see all of the assignments associated with that particular class. And then all you have to do is click Assign, and then students can go ahead and do the assignment. So that's how you can use quizzes with Microsoft Teams.